Hello, beloved souls. It's such a joy to come to you through this way, across time and space, through the ethers. We're having another Mindful Monday morning. I finished all my chores, just waiting for my next meeting to happen, and I wanted to share with you some of the incredible gifts that have been coming to me in meditation over the last 2 weeks. I thought we'd have a nice cup of coffee together here on the balcony and talk about mindfulness. And not just talking about it, experiencing it. So many things we can know intellectually, understanding deep truths with our minds. But it's only when we have experiences with our body that we can really reach an integral understanding of these universal truths. So which universal truths? What is true? There are some things that are true for everyone and everything, and have always been true and always will be true. Let's call it the universal law, the law of nature, the natural law. In Buddhism, they call it dharma. Dharma is both something we can receive, something we can be, a path that we can join and walk along. It's everything. And when we're meditating, truly meditating, all we're doing is experiencing truth. Meditation is an experience of truth. For example, this coffee is hot. I am consuming coffee. It passes over my lips, through my mouth, down my throat, into my stomach, and stays there for a time before it will leave me. That's a meditation because it's an experience of truth. If you just say those words or read them, you can still experience truth. But if the coffee and your body are having the experience that I described, that's an even deeper meditation. So in stillness, we can experience the same truths, whether we're sitting or lying down or standing, that we experience when we're moving through the world. But the stillness allows us to really hone in on the experience of the truth. It's almost like putting truth under a microscope, the microscope of your mind, your awareness. So that's why meditation practice is so valuable. But it's really important to me to share with you that it doesn't have to be seated practice. Because we can meditate, and indeed the goal is to live in ceaseless prayer, to meditate with every breath, with every step, with every action, every word, every thought. And that's just easier when you practice in stillness for a while. That's just a simple fact. But being able to apply it in the world is much harder and a much deeper, I would say more crucial practice for humanity today. So look at all of that as an introduction and have a mindful experience together here now, in the here and now, wherever you are, whenever you are. So we have 6 main senses that we can easily talk about. And if you like, you can close your eyes. I'm not going to do anything worth watching. And just focus on your sensations. I want to clarify that thoughts and feelings are also sensations. At a very real level, everything is sensation. Let me know if you experience that to be true. Don't just believe me. Find it out for yourself. We receive sensation through these 6 doors or gateways or portals into our being. Through touch, the skin sensations, through sound, hearing sensations, through sight, visual sensations, through smell, through taste. Thoughts and emotions are the stimulation of our mental senses. In the same way that a smell is a stimulation of our olfactory senses, or a sound stimulates our audio senses. So many times in the world, our thoughts and emotions or feelings are so intense that we identify with them as being us. But we are not our thoughts just as much as we are not the smells which come in through our nostrils or the tastes that come in through our mouth. The nature of all sensation is to arise and disappear. So in a moment of stillness, mentally and physically, we're able to touch that true nature. And when we touch that nature of impermanence, an unavoidable peace arises. If you don't feel peace right away, you're not doing anything wrong. Your body and your mind are sensitive. That is their nature, to sense. The only thing to do is to use your body to train your mind to be more sensitive to the equanimity which is always present when we are when we're even a small amount aware of the nature of impermanence. Our sensations, whether they be strong or weak, subtle or gross, are a gateway into this universal truth of impermanence, of constant change. Observing sensations in your body from all 6 senses will always bring you into contact with this universal truth that everything is changing all the time. This will also change. Sometimes sensations are really intense. Emotions come and they threaten to sweep us away because we identify with them, and so they cause us to suffer. a sensation comes, and immediately we recognize it and then react based on how we've recognized it. Our reactions are habitual, and often they fall into three categories. Ignorance, I'm just going to ignore that. Craving, oh, I really like that. If that doesn't go on forever, I'll die. I need that to continue. It's so amazing. I love that. Or our reaction is aversion. That is terrible. I really don't like that. I hate that, in fact, and I need it to stop right now. These three reactions are the root of our suffering. When we react with craving, aversion, or ignorance, we suffer. The experiences themselves are neutral. They are non-substantial. There is no substance to the smell that crosses your nostrils. Practicing this experience of impermanence brings us over time an unshakable connection with equanimity. Not perfect equanimity right away. You may sense tension in your muscular or physical structure. Your body may have densified and created dis-ease due to habitual aversion to sensations that your mind couldn't process. This is also nature. When our mind and our body are not working in tandem, the body densifies. That is its tendency. And that creates pain. The deepest, subtlest sensation that we know as humans. We often avert, we avoid it and say, I don't want that. That's deep. I don't understand it. And in that rejection of the experience, we create suffering. This is a deep truth. And we don't have to embody it perfectly in order to understand it. Even if 3% of your mind is experiencing a sensation with equanimity, that's already a victory. If you are already reacting to a sensation with aversion or craving or ignorance, and you are aware of your reaction, you are already winning the battle against illusion. This illusion that says, I am substance. These objects around me provide safety. The experience of suffering is what's real, not the objects which cause us to suffer. In that truth is liberation. In impermanence is freedom. We cannot choose sensations. We can only observe and witness them. But one sensation that we can choose, that we do have the power to create within ourselves, is safety, liberation. This we can choose. Don't believe me? Find it for yourself. Observing the sensations is one way to encounter this truth. If you were very, very, very sensitive, if you experienced the volume at max every day through all your 6 sensory doors, you might feel, I am all sensation. I am all sensation. As in, every part of me is sensing, and I am that sensation. This might be a very common experience of being sensitive. If you identified with the sensation and created substance where there is none, that would be a very painful experience. And yet, if instead of reacting to the sensation, you observed it patiently, calmly, with equanimity, you would notice the sensations changing. Experience witnessing sensation, and you will find liberation. Success is guaranteed. This is the universal law. When you witness sensation, there's a spectrum from gross to subtle. A gross sensation is the wind in your hair, the cloth on your skin, the pressure of what you're sitting or standing on against your physical structure. If you expanded your mental sense into the subtleties of sensation, you would notice vibration, pulsation, tingling, maybe creepy crawlies, or tickles. These sensations all have the quality of movement and change. If you observe them long enough, perhaps where they are strongest and where they are weakest, you would begin to have a uniform sensation of subtle sensations across the whole body at a surface and a deep level. This is the universal law. Your body is vibration. Everything is vibration. Everything is change. You might find it easiest to contact the sensation in the palms of your hands or the soles of your feet. Give it a try. See if you notice the pervasive field of pulsation. If not, the best thing to do is to focus on your nose. The air flow coming and going through your nostrils, brushing across your upper lip, all day, every day of your entire life. There is constancy in your breath, but there is also change. This is the nature of everything. Our body is this gateway into truth. So often our mind wants to create its own truth, to analyze, to judge, to process. That is its nature. Say thank you to your mind for doing its job. When you have strong sensations in your body, perhaps you have a chronic injury or a disease of some other kind. Say thank you to your body for teaching you the nature of impermanence. This sensation will also change. Now, having connected with our body-mind, these two things that are actually one, we create a third thing, a third influence on our experience, and that is spirit. Spirit is the one that says, okay, mind, we're going to focus just on our body. We're going to focus only on reality. And when we close our eyes, the only reality is sensation. You may have a sensation of receiving a thought. You may have a sensation of tickles in your nose or vibrations in your palms. Sweeping your awareness through your body with your eyes closed. Your spirit is the one that says, okay, mind, back to reality. Back to reality. Thank you for observing reality here and now. How does it feel? That's reality. That's what's real. How it feels. In spirit, our spirit sets the container for the body mind to direct its awareness to focused aspects of reality or experience. Your spirit directs awareness to, for example, your shoulder. What's real here? It guides your awareness to stay present with your body as a tool for sensation. Spirit guides the mind to the center of the body and asks, what's real here? In your heart center, the pulsation is strongest. If you are alive and hearing my words, you can feel the pulsation of the universe in your chest. That is real. Mindfulness is this: taking control of our mind and not allowing it to wander aimlessly through the depths of sorrow or the heights of elation. while leaving our body out of the mix. These two cannot be separated, for it is their unity which creates the alchemy that evokes spirit. And this is what our soul has chosen to experience, this perfect trinity. That manifests in so many different ways, constantly changing ways. I am Veronica, and I was also Veronica 20 years ago. But this body is 100% different from the body that I was 20 years ago. Maybe not 100%. Don't quote me on that. I haven't found it to be true yet. All this I speak from experience, which is what we've come here to do. So if you are a very sensitive person and you say, I am whatever sensation you like or are experiencing, that I am who is the I am that is experiencing? That's a question for another video. Our spirit is a container for our body mind, but it's constantly bumping up against spirit, which is all around. My spirit and the spirit of that dog and that cat are bumping up against each other all the time. And when we sit in stillness, we have a chance to focus our spirit on our body mind instead of the spirits of the plants and animals and people around us. But then we have to come back into the world. We can sit in silent meditation for 12 hours a day, 10 days in a row, but we still have to come back into relationship with the world at the end of that experience. So if you can retreat and return, what a blessing. What an amazing gift. If you can't, if you only have 5 minutes a day where you can be still and silent, that's still enough. That is still enough to experience the nature of reality. The universal law is always present. So engaging with the world in a space of mindfulness is the real work. To sit in silence for 10 days brings challenges, but in itself it's quite easy compared to being mindful and equanimous. When our spirits are bumping up against all the other spirits around us. And we've chosen these interactions for some reason. For me, I've been observing this bumping up of spirit against spirit through the intersection and the space between, which grows larger the more substance a person has assigned to their ego identity. This is what creates distance between us and reality, the substance that we assigned where there shouldn't be any. Your nature is flow and change. To identify with anything other than what you experience inside, the vibration of the subatomic particles in your body or the pulsation of your heartbeat, will always bring suffering because of its illusory nature. Embodying this truth of impermanence and constant change, this is how we wake up the world heart. In impermanence and understanding of suffering, we find compassion in action through our bodies. We find loving kindness when we touch this truth and this understanding of reality. This is our work. Not to be perfect examples all the time of perfection. We don't need to try to be pure. We don't need to purify ourselves in order to be pure. We have never been defiled, only trapped in illusion. And waking up from that illusion, reclaiming our sovereignty over our minds, our bodies, and our spirit, that's what the world is asking for us to do now. So, I hope this meditation has been helpful. I hope it's brought you peace. I hope that this week, in your interactions with the world around you, you're able to notice a space of equanimity that still exists at any moment. And if you're not, that's okay too. Inviting the negative sensations to stay and teach us is equally, if not more powerful than clinging to a sense of peace. Because this is not a peaceful world externally. However peaceful I make myself internally, I will always have to return to the world, a world of contrast, which is also changing, but still steeped in illusion. Being a force for light means embodying the truth of constant change. Living in remembrance of this constancy, we strengthen our peace. And then instead of being sucked into the storm of illusion around us, we become a beacon of truth. I want to make a note about anger here. There's a lot of judgment around anger. shame, guilt, about this sacred fire that burns within us. Many times, sadness will come with its water to cover up and hide the flame of anger. These are sensations that will also change. In their nature is purity, neutrality. And when your anger is tied up and bound by aversion or ignorance, repressed anger, you can't use it. It's not accessible. And anger is a creative force as much as a destructive one. Anger helps us to communicate in a focused way, a directed way, often to stop injustice or to define our preferences, which are also nature. Those who walk beside us on this journey of ensoulment, which is what every life is, a journey of ensoulment, are here for us to communicate with, to commune with. Anger is the force that allows us to connect with our I am as an individuated emanation of consciousness, of a coalescence of vibration into form, which is the miracle of life. And this anger allows us to confront in peace, not always in destruction or disturbance, the people who walk alongside of us. Without our anger, we are boundless in a way that denies the paradoxical nature of unity and oneness. So ground down through your roots on the land. Find equanimity with your anger and learn to accept it and not judge it as opposite to peace. Peaceful anger. Peaceful anger. Peaceful anger can be yours. There is truth that wants to express itself through you. And when you use your sensations, subtle and gross, to ground down through your roots, the truth won't leak out through your mind, through your mouth, through your heart, through your hands, through your gut, through your womb. The truth there is that wants to simply flow through you without words and actions. It only wants to breathe you. Now, some truth wants to be spoken. But much truth wants to flow. And by removing our resistance in the form of ignorance, craving, aversion, attachment of any kind, is what allows this flow to happen. And in that flow is freedom. Pure freedom. Not just freedom from suffering, but the true essence of freedom. Be prayed by the flow of all that is. Be meditated as you meditate. Effortlessness is your birthright. Struggle and strain, tension and tautness, these will also change. The nature of everything is impermanent. And I hope that you have had an experience of this today. Thank you for sharing your attention. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your intention to walk as love, the purest truth. Have a great week.